Hey, what's going on, everyone? This your boy Freeze with the weekly live stream. And man, I'll tell you what, man, I missed y'all last week, man. But I said, good news. Like I told you guys, I said I did go on an interview last week. I was preparing for that last week, and I did get selected for that internship. So, really, really blessed in that regard. I'll be starting in August, so looking forward to that. And it's all remote work too, man. So I'll have more time to build content. I'll be at home using the same studio equipment I use for my live stream and stuff like that. That live streaming actually helped me get the job. So definitely looking forward to that. But anyway, I know we come out here to talk game stuff. So this week we're gonna we got a new 5-star batch coming out. I know people excited for that. Hey, let me know in the chat, who are you excited for coming out of this batch, and we're gonna run through there, look at some of the final changes, or what should be the final changes on this 5-star batch. And I want to take a quick peek at this player loyalty program. I had a lot of questions over the past week about it since it came out last Thursday. So uh, I'll kind of do a quick breakdown of that, let people know what's good with that. And then I also got a couple of strategies I want to look at. One I haven't tried yet, but somebody suggested on one of my comments. So I want to talk about that, and it actually involves one of the 5-stars this coming. So this will be a good time to check that out if I can. So definitely looking forward to that. And there's one more strategy that I'm looking at that might actually make a particular combiner in the game obsolete. So I'm kind of looking at that strategy too to see how that plays out. So we'll take a look at those things. But before we look at any of that, as always, let's take a look at this week's newsletter, where we get the event that is called Target 1984. So season 30, week 1 there. Shout out to everybody that completed that endurance event this weekend, man. I wasn't able to. I was I didn't actually play the event this weekend because I was out of town for a conference with my wife with the organization she's with, but we had a really good time. Um, the food was terrible, man. I got out there and the food actually made me sick at the end, but it wasn't too bad. Um, so yeah, we got a 50K individual totalizer. I actually really like this, especially for somebody like me who didn't play the endurance last week. I'm looking at the price charts this week, and man, so some of the stuff you can get, we got you can get 100 of the 1984 crystals, each with a chance to drop captain, sergeant, or corporate ranks uh, on 5-star shards. We also are going to have up to 50K premium character shards, up to 5K 3-star shards, 2.5K 4-star shards, up to 250K spark, up to 500K combined spark, 500K combat spark. This is a nice event. I might actually sit down this weekend and complete this one. I do got some stuff I want to do in my house this week, as far as I'm building a little lounge in my garage, and so when I build that lounge, I want to have air conditioning in there. NFL season coming around, so we're gonna have like 3 TVs in there, man. The lounge is gonna be lit, so I want to work on that some this weekend. But I'm definitely want to work on this too. So let's see. I'm looking at the charts. The charts look really good. But that event chip is going to be the concern, because you got a 1% chance of getting the captain rank. That'll be awesome just to get one or two of those. You got 3% chance to get a sergeant rank item from there. And then you get a 6% chance to get a corporal rank item. But then you get all these different shards, man. You got 15% chance to get 50 5-star shards. Perfect timing as the 5-star batch is coming out. But you can get a 15% chance to get 50 5-star combat shards. You get a 15% to get 25 5-star shards or 25 combat shards. And then you get a 15% to get 10 of the 5-star shards or combat shards. So that's pretty good, man. That adds up. Looking forward to it. And it really does help since the 5-star batch is coming out this week. We got your typical battle zones. and some game updates and information. Like I said earlier, the 5-star batch is on the way. And so they just kind of give you a breakdown of what they did. Now, one thing I've been having a lot of conversations with playtesters about is that Alpha Trion and Turn, or well, any endurance bot really, you don't need to make major changes to those bots. I mean, if they came out and they were good in the endurance, they should at least be capable in the current meta, since they uh, came out not too long ago. Now there is a long backlog, so some of these guys are taking like a year or so to come out. But Alpha Trion and Tarn are coming out, as well as Retgar and Jumpkeep. They did a little bit of a price change for them, and I don't know about all of them, but I say I know because I didn't do the Alpha Trion and Tarn event. I did do the Jumpkeep event, as many of you know. That's the healer that I use in Wars, and so that price change is already in effect in game, and it's helpful, man. I used it on raid this week, and I said, man, I can just spam this thing, keep all my bots alive, and it really opens some things up on Wars, raid, stuff like that. So really looking, well, already, I can't say looking forward to it. It's already here, and I'm really enjoying that. Um, Afterbreaker, Flame War, 5 stars now, 65% reflection, ability 11. That's great. I think that's just within that realm to keep it where it's usable at top league play. So good job there. Didn't take a lot of work there. They said, hey, we just gonna bump up some of that reflection, and you still. I like the delay, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I like to delay Flame War and Afterbreaker for those that are still running SAC, just so you don't get caught up with the FFD. And then the first one we started working on, and I talked to you guys about this a few weeks ago, but Slug and Rampage are coming out there. They're going to have an AoE effect with their ability 11. They are getting an ability 11 with all this, and it's going to be lit, both literally and figuratively. And then Grapple and Dirtbag. Now, there was still some talk about this, even all the way up to today. They said they updated the tooltip. It looks like for Grapple and Dirtbag. Now, 2 weeks ago, I told you guys that it was a good chance that they weren't going to run Grapple and Dirtbag, that it might be uh, a legacy batch rework. And they decided not to do that. They decided to go ahead and run with it. So he should get a good amount of HP, and he also, their tooltip didn't. It was kind of jacked up, and they also wasn't doing as much damage protection as it was supposed to do. So that mine was supposed to be able to absorb more damage, and the percentages were off. So that's supposed to get settled. Now we don't have that one in playtest. They said they're testing it on the external server, and with Space Ape's own specific external server. So not really able to show that one off today, but I'm glad they are deciding to keep him with his ability. I was actually talking to some of you guys in the chat earlier about one thing that always tenses me up about reworks is sometimes they try to take the bot away from what it originally was designed to do. And so you have people that already like this ability, and then when you go change it into something else, then I'm just like, all right, man, like you got to keep it close to what it did originally. So I'm looking forward to Dirtbag and Grapple. Check out all your official content creators, Engineer Horse, myself, Soldier, and of course Sunstreaker Waza. And make sure you check out all your unofficial content creators as well. A lot of them in the chat. So if you guys got them links to them channels, man, drop those links so everybody can check out your content too. Because there's a lot of guys out there making content that's really doing their thing right now, man. So it's not just us. Soccer schedule, and I want to take a look at this thing. I took a look at it earlier, but the 50K event individual, I'm cool with, and I actually already got a bunch of coins and stuff saved up from events that I didn't do, but I did the whole thing with the 50% off discount deal, so I still got a bunch of coins, so I'll probably complete this event. Week 2 and week 3, they're talking about, well, combining event. I always like those because character shards. And then they got a Prime Core event followed behind that. And then week 4, interestingly enough, they say it is to be determined. Now, week 4 is usually when they have, that's usually when they have that combat event. So I don't know if they're planning something different and what's going to be happening, but they got a couple of 500Ks in there because they got one in week 1, season 31, and then we got a 5-star legacy event, 70K full. That's going to be for the bot rework. And then we're going to have another individual totalizer at 10K, getting this ready for, they say to be determined, but I mean, that should be the endurance week. Now, what I will say is I still, when I keep seeing to be determined in the endurance week spot, it does make me wonder if we are going to wind up doing a leaderboard again, like they were going to try to do, like I think it was like a month ago. So I keep my eyes out to see when that season 31 week 4 changes. Community corner, Skelegold making more really cool artwork, and then Violet Speedster. You got the prime cores there, definitely nice. Some bug fixes and improvements. They should go live tomorrow. Star Saber decoys no longer get healed. Tasmanian Kid's abilities should now all have matching ranges. That was jacked up with the release. SG Jetfire old drones now get destroyed when it spawns new ones. So I guess every time you were using new ones, you could have just multiple drones up there, hollows. And then they fixed the sharp price for the 2-star Tasmanian Kid. Some stuff that they're working on in the background. Game is crashing for some folks when you have combat cores, when you're equipping them. They want to fix the Attack Alliance member mechanic. Some improvements to replay accuracy, and they already made one improvement, and I've already noticed a little bit of a difference, but they got another one coming in, and then they said they got some zoom input shutter that they're fixing as well. And then Space Ape, they just got finished doing a live stream, which honestly, because I was so busy with all the other stuff, I still need to go back and take a look at, but they'll be doing one on the 25th of July as well. So looking forward to that. And that's all we got for the news this week. So we're going to go right on over and we're going to flip over to the chat, see who we got in here today. I did not mean to do that. Let's see. All right, let's see. There we go. So it looks like Candyman was first in the chat, my good homie, one of my members, and he wants to remind you guys that he's always talking about that Cyclonus, man. He want that Cyclonus. So welcome to the stream and welcome to the chat, Candyman. Speaking of content creators out there, we got Big Blade 297, who he dropped in with us while he's helping his grandma move. So he been busy packing, but checking me out in the meantime. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for moderating, buddy. Thanks for joining. The homie Daddy Pig has joined us again. Thanks for joining, Daddy Pig. Michael Cooper is with us today again. Thanks for joining, Michael. Mercenary Terry, another good content creator friend and one of my moderators, and he says he reminds you guys to like and subscribe. Now I'm telling you, man, them subscriptions been going up for the last couple of months, man, and I'm getting real close. I think the last time I looked, I'm about 73 subs away from getting paid for this thing, man. So if you sitting there watching and you ain't subscribed to that John, man, go ahead and subscribe to it, man, so I can get paid, G. Yeah, and we were talking earlier. They were saying somebody was saying that Dale said that Kill Bison is getting a rework, and yeah, hopefully that's the case. I'd rather see Sentence win personally, but I like Kill Bison, man. You know, Iron Bison. You know, let's light speed for you guys over there on the Autobot side. So yeah, I'd like to see that one, man. Just he needs some attention, needs some love, man, and like do something to give him some more appeal to the average player. Because I know I like him, Tara likes him, a couple other people like him. They got to get him some love, man, and make him nice and more relevant. Let's see, we got Shock Bomb 28 joining us again. Thanks for joining, Shock Bomb. E-Rods is with us again. Thanks for joining, buddy. Carnage McAlright is with us, and his birthday coming up next week, man. So everybody get a birthday shout out to Carnage. Let's see who else we got. All right, let's see. We got Old Man or my boy Skinny up there. Thanks for joining, Skinny. Blade 19 is with us. Thanks for joining. Spencer 394 is with us again. Thanks for joining. Let's see. We got Kim Bayano is with us. Said miss you, miss you too. Yeah, man, I miss you guys, man. I always like talking to my people, man. That's like the highlight of my week, man. Just come out there and get to talk to everybody, man. So yeah, I'm back though. And I see a bunch of people saying congratulations for me getting the job. Yeah, man, hey, I appreciate it, man. I said I had a lot of support last week, man. Everybody was sending me good luck messages on Discord and Line app, man. And I was really appreciated. I was like, wow, man, like everybody's really hoping I get this thing. So I was excited about that, and I'm even more excited to start in August. Volcanicus #1 is with us again. Thanks for joining, Volcanicus. And I'm looking through some of the comments, seeing who everybody wants to say. Daddy Pig, uh, Daddy Pig wants Slug. Yeah, I mean, and you're gonna have to go get him at some point, man. It's gonna be a combiner piece, so I'm looking forward to that too. Spencer 394 says Slug. You know, slag for the G1 purist. I always got to throw that out there, man. I had some folks get on my ass because I was just like, yeah, Slug. They was like, it's not Slug. I was like, yeah, in game is Slug. So, hey, Monty's pumped up. Said got to make a live stream. So yeah, that's what's good, man. Thanks for joining. I seen you around up there in a lot of the comments. So, but yeah, you actually got to make a live stream this time. So thanks for joining by, stopping by. No, I ain't see that. I ain't see. What's that regular spark? I didn't think I saw regular spark in there. To answer your question, Terror. Playtest homie King Grimlock in there with us again. Yeah, and he says that these guys don't understand that corporal skips need to have the ability to exchange. Nah, and that would be dope. I knew when they started doing skips, man, they were gonna be far and few between, and I didn't think it was gonna be an exchange for them because they scared that's gonna be game breaking. But I don't know, man. I think it'll be fine. Carnage says, "Rest in peace, half shell shield removal on raids." Yeah, I did notice that this week too, because I usually run half shell in my raids just for that reason. Yeah, that John gone, G. Andrew Stevenson is joined us. Thanks for joining, Andrew, as well as Sunstrike. And thanks for joining the good homie Jacada, one of my members and good friends out of Playtest is with us again. Thanks for joining, Jacada. Jacada says, just remember if I got to do security clearance that Freezius Max counts as an alias. Let's see. Garrett Jan Zeggers joined the chat says hi. Thanks for joining, Garrett. And I think I got everybody. If I didn't, just give me a shout. But yeah, man, thanks for everybody for joining and welcome. So let's go over to the blown up version of the battlefield so we can go take a look at some of this batch. Now, I'll tell you, I ain't gonna really go into the endurance bots too much, but I will talk about them. So I will look at Junk Heap first. Got us already on my war team. Brody is at 5+5 now, so it's a little bit more cost effective. I know when we first came out with Junk Heap and Retgar, a lot of people were already off put by the cost. So now the cost is a little bit lower, a little bit more manageable now. I mean, and you got to be careful with stuff like that because you do get a 100% health boost. But when this guy came into the game, there was already a counter because when you look at your counters, you already got a build bot core that works against it. So and then honestly, man, where you still got the whole issue where his tag goes away if you're using the combiner. So that's one of the things I always keep in mind. I like to use them later in battles after I've already deployed the combiner, just so that I know that revive is going to work. But this ray blocker's core affects that too. So it's one of those things you got to be real cautious about. And for me, because I'm primarily focused on taking out FFD, and yeah, well, right now I'm thinking about FFD more than anything else on that map as far as build bot core, so I can use my rush tank and bludgeon. So nice simple change there, nothing crazy. And then we also had that change to Alpha Trion and Tarn. So let me pull that up. And it's just simple stuff, man. Cost changes and stuff, man. So did I pass by them already? And I know a lot of people that love this dude really, really love Alpha Trion and Tarn. It hadn't caught on for me, but I didn't go for the 5-star in that event. So um, maybe there'll be one of those bots that when I go into the batch trying to go get Rampage, that I'll actually really enjoy the bot. So we'll see. But yeah, cost reduction there. Not a whole lot of work needed. He already he already has a pretty eclectic ability where it can make an entire squad better just because it does so much, just with regarding different classes. So something unique and yeah, something that players that really enjoy who use them. So definitely a lot of people looking forward to that. If I saw a lot of people using the 4-star version of him, honestly. So for those who didn't have the 5-star, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that sucks. So, but yeah, so we'll go into the battlefield. We'll go take a look at what we got for the other bots. Yeah, King Grimlock says he wanted Retgar. He wants Retgar now. He didn't want him at the cost. 'Cause since like keep in mind, Retgar was I mean King Grimlock's in playtest with me, so he was just like, yeah. And I remember the conversation we were having about it because your biggest complaint was that cost, and so that was one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'm done not messing around with that cost. So I get it. Oh, to answer your question, Kim, yeah, when you use Junk Heap's ability 11, he does return with 100%. Yeah, so shout out to Monty for catching that and giving it the correct answer. Yes, 100%. So yeah. Hey man, shout out to Mercenary Terry. He says his YouTube anniversary is on July 3rd, so that's coming up soon. So yeah, man, congratulations. I always can remember my anniversary because I did mine's uh I did mine's like the day after Christmas. I just had some time off and I said, hey, I'm just gonna start being a YouTuber randomly one day. So that was dope. Mm-mm. So one of the things I wanted to look at, I wanted to go take one last look at Rampage. And one of the concerns I think that's always going to be when you go do like a Rush Warriors, they say, oh man, like most top players already got pipes or headstrong, and like for me, since I don't have pipes and or headstrong, I just use bludgeon Ironhide for you guys on the Autobot side. So that's one of those areas where a lot of people's like, hey, I don't need this. But at a minimum, it's a combiner piece, and that's the way that I explained it during playtest. I was like, 'cause we spent a lot of time. We spent like 2.5 weeks at first when we were just going over ideas for Rampage. And I was like, look, Rampage needs the least amount of work. It's a combiner piece. People gonna go for him. We already know that 5-star Volcanicus and that 5-star Predaking is coming. So people gonna go for it. Like, it ain't even really a whole lot to say about it in my opinion. But, just for shits and grins, you gotta go in there and give them a good look. So I do understand that. So yeah, now we're looking at Rampage and Slug. So you're still getting that 80% max health boost and 80% absorption shield. It's going to be 12 seconds long. Obviously, his thing is fire. So you're going to set enemies ablaze. You're going to do about 4k damage, a little over 4k. And then you're going to do some AoE when at the final target. So pretty cool stuff. My personal flair that I put on this in play testing, as I said, hey man, make his fire do something cool. So they gave him a negative 15% damage for any target that's affected by the fire. Personally, I would have liked to have seen more, but just giving him a little bit more flair, making it do something cool. You can't do too much because fire already pairs with acid, but yeah, I like that part. And you got passively every 5 seconds. They breathe a small amount of fire damage to close by enemy targets. So let's take a look and see how that looks on an actual battle. Spencer394 says, I don't see anything wrong with another pipes because I like using multiple teams for events. Yeah, I think the concern is always that like, hey, we're gonna use this stuff in wars, and you know, a lot of people already view pipes and headstrong as overpowered. So I think that's what the issue comes in. If you have multiple overpowered bots running during a event or during the war. All right, I'm gonna have to actually go back to the lab for a second because I'm gonna have to back out of here. It's not letting me do battles against teammates. So let me reload my test account. And now I just have to do regular battles. It's funny, man, like 2 weeks ago when I was trying to run this stuff, regular battles didn't work, but um, regular battles didn't work, but battles against friends, in your alliance worked, and now it's vice versa. That's crazy. Yeah, Ken Biono says using Megatronus on it to double up the fire damage could be nice. Yeah, you could do that. I actually like that using that Megatronus for a little while. Everyone was using it on Headstrong. And then yeah, probably can hear Deceptidog out back there talking. Nah, and that's not what I'm using. Is that the emulator is actually on BlueStacks. Sometimes I'll just go in and I'll use. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll use a power mirror. But yeah, I use BlueStacks for all this stuff. I'm allowed to as a content creator in the game. Me. Yeah, so I think Deceptidog see dog out there. All right, so we want to take a look at Rampage. And I really want to see that passive because I hadn't really looked too much into that yet. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be, yeah, I like that. So yeah, I actually let him get killed, so I'm gonna start it over again. But yeah, yeah, that passive is tough. It's actually gonna wind up being one of the better passives. So yeah, I actually run him with the team this time. Give me a second, man. Let me go get this dog, man. Get him to lay down, chill out. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I'll just run him in a team this time. But yeah, I mean, like with the passive and everything, so I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try using the whole Acid Storm ability. Now I've started putting Acid Storm back onto my war team and took Slipstream off because I just found myself just burning through a bunch of points trying to get rid of all these build bots, and because I was only using this dude right here, Thundercracker. So I got rid of, let's say air raid. Yeah, that Slipstream, which is air raid to you guys on the Autobot side. I took him or took her off. Slipstream's a girl. And I didn't want to, but I just found myself not using the ability very often. So try to isolate old Rampage for a little bit. Zoom in and kind of take a look. So yeah, you're already getting everything's doing less damage, which is gonna help the survivability piece. And though like a 15% is not a whole lot, but man, that AOE that is doing at the end of that attack, I mean that does help a lot. Like I'm gonna run it up to this side just so you can kind of focus on that area of effect there. So with the passive and everything, pretty good bot. If you already have your rush tank that you need, then you might not need this one. But a lot of people run 2 rush tanks right now, so who knows? At the end of the day, it's a combining piece. So Candyman said they should make Ravage target build bots. So you know how awesome that would be. That's a good point. They're saying Slag had Fire Breath and Rampage didn't. And I've been on these guys for a while. It's like, look, you can't have these major differences between bots. So So the question came up there, is Acid Storm in terms of efficiency and price is the best build bot killer? So here's the problem. The reason why I actually got rid of Acid Storm at one point was because I found myself reaching to try to go get build bots at distance. So if it's too far out of range, what I'll do is I'll use Thundercracker, which is Silver Bolt for you guys on the Autobot side. But if the closer range ones, I'd use Acid Storm because I was using Acid Storm for everything, but I kept finding myself reaching. So Thundercracker takes out the long build bots. Acid Storm on this team takes out the closer range build bots. I mean, and I don't even say close range because he's got decent range, but Thundercracker's got like god tier range. So that's how I ended up with that particular scenario. All right, so we're gonna take a look at old Flame War and Autobot counterpart Afterbreaker. And so that's what we're looking at there. Like they mentioned in the newsletter, 65% reflection. And that, like, I got the maxed out level ability 11, version here. It's going to deal us fire damage, prevents enemies from getting shields. Which is like last time I was talking about this, I was saying that if you use it on defense, that can become a factor there. It does. Flame War does a lot of stuff well, man, because 8 bolts of electricity, so you're disabling defenses for 3 seconds and getting that electrical damage. So, for me, in this particular scenario, I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to run that Onyx just for even more survivability. And there's a couple of ways you can go about that. You can actually go about, I've run just a standard Vitality Core. I've run, because I use her for sack, one of the things that I've actually done in the past is I've actually just gone in and just got a basic Tactician Core. And that was more for when everybody just had all of their resources stuffed in the front. So I would just use the pop outposts and stuff. So scenarios where I would use Flame War would be more so for stack, which is cool because now what has happened 6 months, it might be more difficult to get the sack to might be more difficult to get that deployment right, but at the same time you also get opportunities. Like I said, sack is still sack if you deploy late. And so that's one concept that I always try to give players is you don't have to sack right there at the very beginning of everything. So but with the range that she's got, you can go up there and you can pop a bunch of outposts, and she actually widens out a little bit as she goes. So like I popped every outpost bot that was there. I can come in with the rest of my team. And one way that I like to use sack, I used to always let all the bots come to the bottom of the screen, come in with my combiner and wail on them. Now I play it a little bit differently, but yeah, I mean, I wish I could actually fight other alliance mates so I can have a little bit of stronger base, but that's just not the case. Man, he is really wilding today, man. But yeah, so Flame War gonna be legit. All right. So yeah, ultimately that didn't need a whole lot of work. And then this dude right here. So for Dirtbag and Grapple, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to be, how that's going to end up. Um, they were just talking about giving it more health. But one of the tactics that I actually wanted to try, somebody had suggested to me that they use this a lot when they see swoop. So I said I want to try that because I hadn't tried it, never really thought about it. And then, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'll just use a hollow in those particular cases." But I was like, "Yeah, and that's cool." But I was like, I just wanted to see what it looked like. I just kind of wanted to see what it would actually look like. So just to try that out, I'm going to use Dirtbag in Thundercracker's place. Wouldn't set the team up like this, but I just want to test this one particular strategy to see how that plays out. Just to kind of keep him, because you'd be worried about, in a lot of cases, just worried about that stun. So here, you're already going to have Blot there with his hologram. But once I get that team dropped in there, and this is one of the things that we were talking about in playtest, because so now Grapple's got pretty good range. You go drop that, and I actually messed up the deployment there, but let's see if I can get him to. Yeah, so now you just get him kind of hitting those mines. So yeah, I see what they were talking about. That's pretty cool. So yeah, man, I guess I could use that. Now, granted, a lot of people are just going to use the holograms, but I say you can also get a little bit of. Well, I mean, the holograms that you got like from Blot and Rook going to do some damage too. So yeah, I just got to see how this is going to turn out, because like they said, they are testing this on their external server that they have, this unique to Space 8. Yeah, now, oh, I see Fox the Bomb joined us. Thanks for joining, Fox the Bomb, one of my good friends and moderators. He says, "Go Dirtbag." Then people were talking about with Bludgeon. So with Bludgeon and Ironhide, who to use? They said that I use a G1. Now, that definitely is an option. Um, Chris, I hadn't seen him around. I think he's actually out driving today, but I know that he's real big on the G1 for Bludgeon. I like to use Onyx just because and it depends on your strategies. For me, when I use Bludgeon, I actually let him trip the MSMs, and so he's not going to be able to use his ability to go, to help himself right away. And so that's why I use Onyx. But a lot of people use Leech because they're taking him into that shield cluster. The Leech core is going on defense is going to be in that cluster. So it just really depends on what you're using them for. That's the biggest thing. Hey, and I see Sunstreaker Waz has jumped in the chat. Thanks for joining, buddy. All right, so yeah, so I got to see how this is going to turn out. I can't speak too much, but it looks like they're going to leave him close to how he was. And for me, that's the biggest thing, because there are people that like this bot. Man, let me actually go pull him in here, man. Give me a second. I had to get smart, get him some treats this time. But alright. So I had a couple of questions earlier in the week. I had a couple of questions earlier in the week about this this new player new loyalty program. And so one of the things that a lot of people didn't notice is when you go to the top left of the screen, you know, they got the little loyalty player icon now. Now, I can only do so much on the test server because I'm not able to actually make purchases in here. But we'll walk through the concept real quick. So, one thing that you get every day is you get a chance to go claim your loyalty points. You get 30 of them, and that cools down for 24 hours. And what that does is it's going to allow you your loyalty level to change. Well, you got to build them up over time. So you get 30, like level one's like 1,000, and what you can do is get different stuff out of the loyalty shop. So when you go make these purchases, each of them has a loyalty icon over the top telling you how many points that you're gonna get, so that you can increase, that player loyalty and move on to the next level. What I can actually do is I can show mine. Let me go get it set up. I can actually show mine from the test server. I mean, from the live server to kind of see what that looks like. I just got to set it up real quick, so give me a moment. Now, so there's two parts to that. So you're also going to have your loyalty store. So I want to flip over to my live server, and I will pull that up real quick. Let me just switch my screen. Alright, so this is my live server right here. And so same thing here. So you can see I'm on level 1 because I only made one purchase. But one of the things you'll get is, so every day you'll get one of these level 1 chests, and every day you'll get your daily points, which I need to actually do for the day. And then they also have like little level 1 bundles that you can get. So each level's gonna have a bundle. I don't necessarily see too much value in this, but it's 1,000 points for $10. So that'll help you to try to kind of increase a little bit. But I'm gonna jump out of the camera for a second so we can actually look at your loyalty store. And so what you're gonna also wind up having is you're gonna have your free loyalty chest. You're gonna get one of those each month, and then you're gonna have like little limits that you're gonna have for each one. So this first one was the 1,000 loyalty point chest, and this is some of the stuff it's going to contain: 30k spark, 30k of each type of spark, 30k of premium character shark crystals, 10 new school crystals, 20 crimson canisters, and 1 random gold power core. And you get one of those every 30 days, and that'll be based. So, you know, when you go spend $10, and you wind up getting this chest, or you can just continue to wait on all your loyalty points. Your loyalty points will continue to increase, and then you can go in there and get these items. Obviously, people that spend are going to get more. The value is around the same as like the old loyalty program. Now, this next chest that you have is going to be at 5,000 loyalty, and that's what you're going to get in that particular case. So you get to add another, another of the 30k of each kind of spark, your character crystal shards. So you're going to get that stuff again. But then when you get to loyalty chest 10, once you get to that, then you're gonna get all of this stuff, but it's unlimited. And so as you continue to put more loyalty into the game, you can get this one as many times as you want. And what it ultimately winds up, and I see the question in there from Fox the Bomb saying it's the same thing. Why? Well, actually, you get 10 times of those chests, so you get 10 of those at 50k, and then if you continue to get more, spend more, then you wind up having multiple of those. So what it is it winds up adding up really, really fast in that particular regard. So I think that's what the premise is in that particular case. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit a. I got 5 hours left in war. I'm gonna hit a war attempt while I'm up here. We can actually take a look at how I started using some of this, using my team after I changed the Acid Storm. So this is one of those cases where I was talking about where I'm probably going to use Acid Storm against that FFD right there, just because it's at shorter range. I think that's the only FFD. Now I do got to be careful of that Nexus Prime core there in the back, because I do at some point want to deploy a God Neptune, and I don't want him to get shredded. I also got to be careful here because I got a antidote zone build bot there, so I won't be able to use Acid Storm there. So I got to check my ranges, which they put the FFD there outside of that range. So I should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Blot in the back here, pop that first outpost. And let me go ahead and get that FFD down. I'm gonna get that antidote dome down as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and run my combiner at this point. Then one thing I like to do, I actually like to run him up the side here. And in a lot of cases, it won't work in this case. A lot of times I'll actually do some damage over there to the Titan himself. But that's not going to work in this case. So I probably should have actually went for the shield generator. Yeah, and I actually messed that all the way up. And this is one of the things that folks have been complaining about too, because they were saying that because the shield generator ain't just getting busted up by Roadbuster and Half Shell anymore. So this has been a real inefficient attack this go around. But with all the mistakes, I still should be able to get it done. I'm gonna go get me some more, get me a little more um, ability points here. And despite a bunch of mistakes, I should be able to pull this off pretty easy. Which combiner are you talking about? Y'all see somebody, I see Candyman trying to get Waza to upgrade to a 5-star combiner. Which one? And Big Blade says he thinks Grapple will be okay for defense. It's the duration for me, because it's like, because it's 10 seconds. It's kind of what I was like, I'm not sure. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the test server. I can't resist doing a war attempt once I get to that point. Yeah, and I was actually gonna talk about the hollows. Oh, you didn't go to the 5-star guard Neptune? Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. I want to hear the rationale for that one. I might have missed that live stream then. All right, let's see. That's a good segue. I actually want to talk about those holograms. So one thing I was actually looking at was when okay, the cost. I say, well, I mean, but I say you've been talking about how it's not that much fresh content coming in the game. So I was like, what else are you gonna spend it on, or are you just gonna wait until they eventually drop it down? But now let's see. With those holograms, one of the things I was looking at is now I know a lot of people use Skyrain and Galvatronus now on defense, but there's some folks that still like, including myself, that still have Lyokaiser and Computron in the outpost. And so one of the things that I was looking at, one of the things that I was actually looking at is if I were to use God Neptune, and I got to be careful here because I did leave the Nexus core up. If I were to use God Neptune and his holograms, what I should be able to do is avoid letting my combiner get hacked in certain cases. So in this case, so Lyle Kaiser's over there. I'm going to play the outside. And what I'm trying to do here is to get him to hack the hologram instead of the actual combiner. Now, this would work a lot differently in this case if I took down the Nexus Prime Core early on. But it's just something I was just thinking about. It's like, hey man, I could actually use that in certain situations to have the hack go to those holograms. And granted, I could just use Blot and Rook's holograms too. But the thing that I'm kind of focused on is that in this particular case, one of my holograms died. I think two of my holograms might have died in that case. Um, there's three of these things. So for me, um, it's kind of like something I can dig myself out of a jam with when I go use that particular ability. Because I say honestly, I didn't really see the point at first, but then I was like, with the holograms, you also can use those holograms, and those holograms do some damage too. So it helps in certain modes. It definitely helps in like elimination mode, which they probably shouldn't be doing that, but I'm fairly certain the ape's been made aware, so they'll probably do a bug fix for that at some point. But yeah, so that's what I was thinking about, using that as a good counter to the Lyokaiser and Computron hack. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. But yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna be back on next week, and I will also gonna try to work on that tournament a little bit this weekend too. I didn't Last weekend got a little bit too crazy, but hey, yo, old man says, shh. Nah, they know about it, man, because I seen everybody already talking about it on Discord. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said shit. I would have just been like, but yeah, man. But all right, guys, I'll see you next week, and I will also see you guys on the battlefield, man. Freezius out.